You're listening to If Only I Were Wiser podcast, where Raina Wilson brings together wisdom and raw life stories to provide encouragement and truth. So many times it's easy to become discouraged in your own pursuit of health because your story or circumstances look drastically different from your favorite influencer or even the expectations you had for yourself. If that is you, welcome! This space is for you to learn, breathe, and maybe just listen and see what wellness could look like for you. Hey friends, welcome back to the If Only I Were Wiser podcast. On today's episode, I actually have a friend from high school that is now doing social media influencing. Her story is so cool, and I just love how in this episode, she shares everything behind the scenes. Everything you did or maybe didn't know about what it looks like to run a life on socials. So let's go ahead and dive in. Welcome, Madison, to the If Only I Were Wiser podcast.
Hi, how are you?
I'm so excited. I know we've talked about this a little bit, but flashback, Madison and I knew each other in high school. So this is kind of just like a crazy full circle moment. And just like really sweet to see like where our lives are at because high school is just, we'll get into it. It's cringy. I would love to just start out by introducing you to our audience if you want to just share a little bit about you.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Madison Jantzen, or people call me MJ. That's kind of like my new thing the past few months, calling
love
me
that.
MJ, because everyone was calling me Jantzen because all my platforms are Jantzen or Miss Jantzen.
Yeah.
So everyone was calling me that, and I was sick and tired of that. So we just started, all my friends started calling me MJ, and I'm kind of digging it. I am 26 years young, and I live in Dallas, Texas. And yeah, I have like 8 jobs, social media, all of them.
Yeah.
And I am just happy-go-lucky girl that made my dreams and passions my job. So
Okay, so if you could pick, I'm trying to think. I know we share a couple of common areas of interest, but what would you say is like the one highlight when you see it in your calendar, you're like, "Oh, I'm all about doing this one thing right now."
Right now, I've always wanted to make dance like my full-time thing. And I just like started teaching dance like a month ago. So that's like every time, like last night, I teach dance lessons at my house now. I teach at a studio too. I'm on a professional dance team, and dancing is like my number one joy. I don't know if you remember, but I was on drill team in high school, and that was my safe place.
Yeah.
That was my outlet. So now that I get to do that for work, that's pretty cool. So every time I see that on my calendar, I'm like, yes. And like stuff like this, like I love, love, love connecting with other people. That's why I think like social media has been the perfect job for me, because I connect with people every single day, like brands, people, other influencers, other content creators, other models. And like social media has literally been the best thing that's ever happened to me. So
Yeah. Well, I would love just to dive in there and kind of like, where did you get from like dancing in high school? And I believe you danced in college as well, correct?
yes.
Because I remember seeing that. Yeah. How did you get from there to what you're doing now, full blown content creation and everything that comes with that?
You want long story short, medium story short, or long story long?
Whatever. Send it.
All right. So I grew up in a very rough childhood. Things were not really normal or typical for a child growing up. Birth mom, drugs and alcohol, dad, abusive alcoholic. My dad had 3 kids with 3 different people. So I just like didn't really know, like, even like I couldn't even like study in school. Like, and so I was growing up and everyone was talking about like things they wanted to do with their life. And I was like, I don't even know how to type on a keyboard.
Yeah.
And so like I was in and out of therapy for a long time, like in school, like I was always in the counselor's office. And so I didn't really get to learn anything. So like I was really into like psychology, but I flunked that class because I was very in traumatic situations. And so there was just so many things that I was interested in that I just didn't really get to pursue. But The only thing that I was like really consistent with was dance.
Okay.
So I started off as a gymnast and a cheerleader when I was young. And then I dabbled in dance in middle school a little bit. I did some little kiddie dance classes when I was young, but mostly gymnastics and cheerleading. And then I auditioned for or tried out for the drill team at our high school, Hebron Silver Wings, Hawk
Mm-hmm.
Pride Never Die,
Yeah.
and did that for 4 years, ended up having some leadership roles. I love like just empowering people and connecting with people. And like, so just doing dance and doing like a leadership role, like really showed me what my strengths were. I am a huge people person. Like I love helping people reach their goals. And I really helped a lot of other people like realize their goals before I realized what I wanted
Yeah.
to do.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad wasn't really a part of my life for a long time. So I was dancing and that was my outlet. So I knew I wanted to move the frick away when I graduated high school. So I also like lost my entire friend group senior year due to things we're not going to mention on the
It's all right.
podcast.
Same, girl. Same.
Secret, you know. But they were all going to big schools and I really wanted to go with them. So
Yeah.
whenever I had this huge falling out with all my friend group, like my close core friend group, I was like, you know what? Like, I don't care about going anywhere. Like, I just want to dance. So my coach at the time she used to be a Kilgore College Rangerette, which
Okay.
if people are tuning in that are not from Texas, drill team is a huge Texas
Yes. Yes.
high school football. So they have cheerleaders
Huge.
and drill team, and drill team is huge. Like there's amazing drill teams all across Texas, and it's just really cool to be a part of that. And everything's bigger in Texas,
Yeah.
But my dance coach was a Kilgore College Rangerette, and she told me she was like, "There's also Apache Bells. There's Tyler Junior College Apache Bells, and there's TVCC, which is the Carnettes." Do you know what TVCC sounds? Trinity Valley Community
Yeah,
College.
it sounded familiar. There you go.
Yeah. So they also have a drill team. So there's like 3 main ones. My dad's adopted mom lived in Tyler, and I was really close to them. So, like growing up, I was close with them when I was a baby.
Yeah.
But when I got older, I wanted to rekindle because I had no family, right? Like my dad and my adopted mom, they split up and my dad wouldn't let me see my mom. So like that was a whole other situation because I had no family. Birth mom's not in my
Right.
picture. Adopted mom wasn't allowed to see me. She took my half sister and my stepbrother with her. So it was just me, my abusive
Yeah.
alcoholic dad for a long time. So I was like, okay, my grandma lives in Tyler. There's Apache Bells. I would be 2 hours from home. So I'm not too far to where I'm scared, but like close enough to like come back if I needed to come back. So
Sure.
I auditioned, made the team, and that was like where I was like, okay, like I really have a passion for dance. I went to college to be a teacher. And this is all gonna full circle moment on the question you asked me. I'm just trying to give all the backstory.
Yeah.
But so I went to school, I did my associate's degree at TJC, dabbled in some teaching classes, and
Yeah.
I transferred to UT Tyler after my 2 years at TJC doing Apache Bells. I was also chaplain of the Apache Bells, which was really cool experience getting to love on the girls and run like beautiful meetings on how we could do well in life and how we can encourage and grow. So I was like already starting to
Lead.
do what I do now.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's a cool moment. But so then I went to UT Tyler, and that's like, so like my sophomore year into junior year of college, that's when I found Cowboys Tyler, which is the country dance bar. And that's where I started partner dancing. And I fell in love with it. So whenever I went to UT Tyler, auditioned for their pom squad, I didn't really like it because it wasn't drill team. It was ran a different way and it had cheerleaders and dancers, and the team was only like 8 girls. And I came from high school, which our
Sure.
team was like 6 girls.
Yeah.
It's like just having a small group of girls made me nervous. I didn't really connect with any of them. So I left after we competed and still friends with them, just like wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
But I kept pursuing country dance instead. And I was in a sorority and it was just fun. Like, I didn't really enjoy UT Tyler as much as I thought I would, but started learning how to dance and that grew my passion for
Yeah.
country dancing. So, wrapping up college years, when I was a senior, I was clinical teaching. This was also when COVID happened.
Oof.
So,
Yeah.
I was a senior in college so I wanted to get certified to teach K through 6, which I did. And then I also have a really big heart for special needs students or people in general. But I loved it. It was so challenging for me. And so I'd started, okay, let me rewind just a time.
Yeah.
So this will wrap into how I did social media. When I was at Patchy Bell at Tyler Junior College, we had a couple sponsorships on the team. So there was like a cryo company and there was like some other things. So I started like tagging their handles on my social media for fun because I was like, this is really cool. We get to like
work with
go
them.
get free credit, you know? So it ended up like every time I came in, they were like, oh my gosh, like people like come in and say they saw your stuff on your story all the time. And I was like, that's sick. Like, cool. And they were like, can you come back often? Like, can you keep doing that? And I was like, sure. Like, I love that. A lot of businesses were not doing well in Tyler.
Yeah.
Because it's a smaller town and there were these new things that were like happening all over like big cities like Dallas, like cryotherapy.
Right.
You know, that people were like, what the frick is that? So anyways, so I did that and ended up like doing things with them for a long time. And separate from Apache Bells. So it like benefited me and benefited them. But then I started getting into modeling. I my first camera and started taking photos of myself. And I grew up and like I was introduced into the modeling world. That is a whole nother long story for a podcast. When I was very young, and it was a very negative, negative first impression. My dad, long story short, my dad liked to do more scandalous work when I was little. So I was exposed to a lot of things that I probably shouldn't have been as a child. But whenever I would go on these shoots, like some of the photographers would like to take pictures of me, like fully clothed, but like I was little. And so I like enjoyed always being around cameras. But I had this negative stereotype with it because of what I was exposed to. So whenever I was asked to model for a couple brands, I was very hesitant, but I was like, okay, like this is kind of like the cryo thing. Like I could post these really cute pictures and it will be from Instagram and maybe I could like, I don't know, help them out. So I started modeling for Gaudy Me.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That little boutique, it was so cute. We had the cutest stuff.
Yeah.
And I started modeling for them, and that was really fun time. And so I would do that like multiple times a month, and they would send me the photos, and I felt so beautiful. And like they like brought this new confidence out in me that I never really had. And it was really cool. And they would use me all over their social media, all over their website. And I was just like, that is so cool.
Yeah.
And I really struggled with my confidence because of my teeth.
Girl, we all struggled through the the depths of braces, man.
And I was bullied because people called me exponent tooth because this tooth was all the way up here. So they would call me exponent tooth. And I was so insecure about my teeth. Anyways, so I got my braces off right before my 21st birthday.
Okay.
And that's when Gaudy Me asked me to start modeling for them. I was like so excited, like so excited. So whenever I was going to clinical teaching, so we're going back a year, we were doing clinical teaching for the last semester. I love to dress up. Like that's one of my favorite things ever.
Yeah.
I love to wear whatever I want to wear that makes me feel confident. Like I struggled with confidence. So wearing things that made me feel really good, like really helps me with that. So I would go all out to teach these kids. I ordered space skirts and tutus and themed outfits and cool Nike shoes, and like I would just do whatever, wear whatever I wanted that made me feel good. If you go to a school, what do teachers wear? Like t-shirts and jeans, right? Like, so I was different. I stood out.
Mm-hmm.
So I started posting on my Snapchat story and my Instagram story, like, teacher outfit of the day. And everyone was like,
Mm-hmm.
where did you get this? Like, blah, blah, blah. So I literally sold so many clothes without even knowing
Yeah.
it. Then brands, I would start tagging the brands and they reach out to me and they were like, your Instagram story like sold out this dress or like sold out this top. And I was very small at the time, like
Mm-hmm.
3,000 followers, maybe. Like, I think I grew like 3,000 followers by the end of senior year of college. So I had about almost 6,500 followers at the time, which at the time I was like, I just know all these people. Like, it's like people I knew.
Right.
So I was like, okay, great. Like, it's brands that I've tagged before or whatever. So I was like, this is so cool. Then there was the Heartbeat app or whatever it's called that would pay you $20 to post like a story picture of a product. So I'll go on there and get gas money from this.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is easy. Like, use these products every day. Like, and they sent you free products and you just have to post about it. And I did. And it was fun. And so that's like where I started like figuring out that you can learn how to make money online.
Mm.
So teacher outfits, sold out boutiques, sold out outfits, whatever. And then COVID happened.
And everybody got wrecked.
Whoa, let me backtrack just a tad. I started dating a guy. Okay. I competed in my first country dance comp. I want to say it was like my junior or senior year of college with my dance partner in Tyler. His name's Rue. He's one of my bestest friends. I don't know if you know Rue Carson, but he's one of the most amazing people I've ever met in my life. I was going through such a hard time in college and he just would show up and dance with me and we were best friends and very platonic, but it was just great, like having like someone that I knew because I really struggled making friends. Like I had a lot of people who liked to be around me, but when I like really like looked at the people who like actually cared, I was like, I couldn't call any of these people and be like, I need you, right? So like I started to find a few people. So I had like 3 or 4 at TJC, but when I went to UT Tyler, they moved away. So then I was like,
Yeah.
now I have to do this again. So I lost all my friends senior year of high school, moved in there to TJC, lost those friends because they moved away. And then I had to remake friends. And then the friends I made at UT Tyler were not good either. So it was just hard. So I ended up going to Dallas a lot, like my junior and senior year, and competing at these dance comps and going to the dance halls here. Well, I actually got second place with my dance partner in one of the biggest comps, like country dance hall comps, and we had never competed before. So people were like, who are these people? And I was like, to dance. Like, I don't take this seriously. Like, people train for these things. And I was like, I just dance. Like,
I just show up.
We like practice some aerials and stuff because that's what I like to do. But like, other than that, like, we just had fun and it was great. So that really sparked my love for country dancing. The guy who beat me in first place, I actually started dating him. And he was training for UCWDC Worlds, which is the United Country World Dance Hall Championships. So dance championships. And I was like, I want to do that. So I started training with him because he needed a partner to run his dances with. And it was easy for me. And so I was about to sign up to start doing lessons and training with his coaches too, because I liked his coaches, but we had a very bad breakup. So I just said, scratch that whole dream and plan. I'm never going to UCWDC ever again, period. Like, don't want to be around him. Don't want to go to the dance halls anymore. So I completely cut off country dancing for a long time. So then COVID happened. I moved back to Dallas. I moved in with my mom and my sister and my brother and our dogs and in a tiny apartment. And that was crazy. And I applied for like 50 different school districts and could not get a job.
Wow.
Couldn't get a job. I wanted to do special education,
Yeah.
but since COVID happened and we didn't get to go to our last 3 weeks of clinical teaching, they said, "You don't get your special needs certification."
What?
And that's what I wanted. And you can't get it without EC through 6. So I was pissed because that's what I wanted to do. I didn't
Right.
want to go teach gen ed. I wanted to do special needs. So because also I knew that special needs was like very needed. Like I could get hired in 2 seconds for a special needs job because no one wants to do it. Like, I mean, there is a massive general teacher shortage, but like at the time, like everyone was scared to lose their jobs. So like none of the teachers retired that year. So no schools had open positions. So I applied for all these schools, whatever, still doing social media behind the scenes of teacher stuff. And I just shared my whole journey about like how I couldn't find a job, how I was doing whatever. And like, I even posted videos back on my TikTok a long time ago. If you scroll like 3 years ago, you'll find all of my like preparing for my first teaching job. So I got hired in Louisville at a school. I'm not naming names, but I was excited to go back to Louisville ISD because I loved Louisville ISD. Like, I loved that they wanted to do technology in the classroom. I loved that I just loved Louisville. Like, I just loved the counselors. I loved my principals. Like, they cared for me. And I just was like, okay, great. Like, I scored a position at school in Louisville. Great. So I started teaching,
Yeah.
started sharing my content, and things started to blow up. This is when TikTok kind of just like popped off a little bit. Like when COVID was like the iconic TikTok, everyone was TikToking from home because everyone was home. So I started doing TikToks and it was so fun because I love being on camera and I love like creative stuff. Like the only thing I did really well in high school was like make PowerPoints and video presentations. Like that was my strength. So I was like, heck yeah, I'll make some TikToks. So when I got my job and I was making my classroom, I had a couple TikTok videos like go like mega viral. 10+ million views. And I was like, what is happening? Like, I don't like that. Like, I, that makes me nervous because then I started getting really mean comments and I was just like, I was just sharing what I was passionate about. Like, why are you hating on a teacher that like just got a kindergarten job? Like, what's wrong with you? So then I had like
Right.
insecurities about that. But I talked to some other people who had went viral on social media and they were like, that's just what happens. Like, you just got to ignore it. And I was like, all right, I'll just ignore it. So I kept posting, blew up. I had like 275,000 followers like that, like 5 months.
Wow.
It was insane. Like
Yeah.
I didn't even have good like content. I just shared what I loved, like, and like my whatever. So then things started getting really bad because people were out to get me and would take pictures of me at the country dance bars in my dance outfits and send them to HR.
What?
And if you don't know, Louisville, their HR is like older people that are more conservative. And so like them getting any like kind of weird email about one of their teachers
Sure.
dancing in a more revealing outfit at a bar wasn't really the best look.
Interesting. Yeah.
But I did have to tell them, like, you have no idea what the other teachers are doing after school. You're just aware of what I'm doing it because people are finding me and sharing that with you. I bet you a lot of other teachers are doing things that you would not be school. I mean, my stuff was I was pursuing my dance dreams. I don't feel like it was at all. But like it was hard. It was hard. So they tried to fire me multiple times and I was sick of it. And I lived in this pretty nice apartment by myself and was struggling to pay my like bills with my teacher's salary. So I got like an email from Clorox and Kleenex, and they said, we'll pay you this price for a TikTok video. And I was like, haha, that's a joke. Like, I literally
Yeah.
responded to the email, like, haha, like, not falling for.
No way.
And they were like, no, like, this is real. And I was like, okay. And it was one TikTok was the same price of my monthly teacher paycheck.
Wow.
And I cried like a little baby because growing up, my dad was very wealthy when I was younger, but my dad lost his job like seventh grade. And that's when things, and, but we were very poor. Like there were times when like I would come home and my dad would have kind of food, but like my friends would feed me. Like they would bring me like food to lunch at school or whatever, because I was on like that free reduced meal plan where they give you a slice of bread and a slice of cheese, and that's what I ate. So my friends started telling their families like Madison's literally eating a slice of bread and cheese in a milk carton. So, and I didn't care, like, I didn't know, like, any different. I just knew that, like, my dad didn't really provide, so my friends would do that. So whenever I got my first apartment and I was like, "Okay, like, I'm eating spaghetti every night on this teacher's salary," because I got an apartment that was kind of a little too expensive for my teacher budget, and I didn't want a roommate, and because I had psycho roommates growing up, so I was like, "This is crazy, like, I can make that much money in an hour?" Like, there's just no way.
Yeah.
So I did the video. It was with Walmart and Clorox and Kleenex, and it was so cool, and they loved my content, and they hired me for
Yeah.
2 more years after that, like, to make the same content after
That's
that.
awesome.
Um, but yeah, it was really cool. So I started doing that and ended up getting to a place at the end of the year where I did re-sign a contract for the next year. But I got like a phone call from Express and they were like, we want you to host your own shoppable events at Express. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, what? Like the opportunities that I was getting was just like I was crying every time. Like I was like, there's just like I am so blessed. Like
Mhm.
I am so grateful for these things because like I was miserable teaching. They made it such like a living hell for me because like they did not like what I was doing on the internet at all. And I do not think any of my stuff was any kind of inappropriate, period. Like I get it. Like they didn't want like the kids' faces in the things, and I respected that. So they were like, okay, you have to ask the
Mhm.
parents. So I asked the parents, like I went, like I made sure everyone was comfortable. And it was crazy because my kids' parents loved me. I still talk to them. I just took my little kindergarten girls ice skating like 2 weeks ago,
Mm.
and I Zoom call one of my other students. Like, I loved like, that was great. It was outside people that were upset about what I was doing, that didn't have any affiliation with me, that were trying to get me fired from my job.
Mhm.
I asked them every time. They would get called in the principal's office all the time, and they would show me these emails, and it would be like a fake email. Like someone created a fake email and sent in my TikTok screenshots, like to HR, like to like the head honcho, the superintendent. It was like copied to like everyone, like saying nasty things about me. And I was just like, this is my dream job. Like, because I didn't want to quit. I was just gonna do some TikTok videos and teach on the side because I about to get my certification to do special needs, to
Right.
teach special needs. Like, so I was like, this is my passion. Like, can't wait to continue doing this. So we like kind of created a better work environment towards the end. But when I got a call from like Express, like to do my own event, I was just like, these people are like so proud of me for what I'm doing. And I don't feel bad at my job here. They're in want me here. So I felt like unwanted
Mm.
the last 6 months of being a kindergarten teacher at the school. So when they called me and said that, I was just like, wow. So yeah, so then I started doing social media full time, and that's how I got there. was a very long story, but that makes, and then I auditioned for Texas Legends and didn't do country dancing very much, and then met my new dance partner during that time, during COVID. It was COVID. I got invited to go to, like, Oklahoma for,
Mm-hmm.
the only bar that was open that was doing country dancing, and I met another guy friend, and that ended up being my dance partner. We danced together for 3.5 years now.
Wow, I love
And
that.
we competed at Worlds and got first in traditional 2 years ago. So I ended up going back to Worlds, and I am about to start pursuing Worlds. I'm going to
Yeah.
compete um this January. So I'm excited. And I'm on Allen American Ice Angels professional hockey team's dance team. So I love, like, I'm doing everything I want to do. Social media, dance teaching, all that jazz.
Yeah, it's really cool just to hear like how God's hand has been, just like over all these little details.
It's so cool.
So you mentioned a little bit about the trolls, and even for me, like I've got a smaller platform and I have friends that have been in the content creation world for a season, and it's like it comes with the territory, like it comes with the territory of putting yourself out there, of pursuing what you want, or even honestly, like even if you're not selling online, if you're just sharing your story, it's going to piss somebody off, right? So, what does it look like for you in the midst of this massive growth
Mhm.
to protect your peace? Because I'm sure there have been people, whether it's been people from high school or people from college or these randos that are coming after you and been like, hey, now we're best friends. And like I can feel like it just opens such a big door to be not even abused, but just taken advantage of in the worst ways. So, how do you protect your peace and your heart and your friendships in the midst of doing what you love
Mhm.
on social media?
Great question. I actually had to sit down with myself 2 nights ago because I found a really bad Reddit thread.
Mm,
And this is kind of sad to say, but it's worth sharing. Back in middle school, there was that Ask FM, the
mhm.
anonymous.
Yeah.
I almost committed suicide because I had 300 messages telling me to commit suicide. Like, not just that, but like 300
Yeah.
messages like, you don't belong here. You should kill yourself. Nobody wants you. Like, some of the things that I would never even want to say out loud, like,
Yeah.
and like hundreds of messages, hundreds. And I was in such a bad place, like with my family situation, that I literally planned a suicide attempt 3 times.
Mhm.
And so, like, when I started going viral in college for teacher stuff and people were hating on that, I was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, like, people suck. Like, how do you hate on a little girl that's trying to teach kids? Like,
Mhm.
like, I was just a college kid that, like, loved kids. Like, how do you hate on someone that does that?
Mhm.
Like, so it got to the point where I made a few friends with some bigger content creators.
Mhm.
I met Gabby Butler, which is one of the best cheerleaders in the world. She's an amazing human. I met another YouTuber. Um, and when I started to blow up, I would reach out to them whenever I would feel weird.
Right.
And I'm like, how? The main question I had was like, how do you deal with the negative comments? Because I had one video go viral and it was a bad algorithm day,
Yeah.
but everyone who viewed that video probably was nasty people because the comments, I was just deleting comments. I literally had
Wow.
friends come over and we were all deleting comments because it was so, like, it was the worst I've ever seen.
Yeah.
The worst. Like, you fake blah, 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 like beep, 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 you beep, beep. Like, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is triggering me really bad to when I was in middle school.
Mhm.
And I've had to deal with a lot of trauma resurfacing already, like,
Yeah.
because of my childhood. So, like, doing like that resurfacing was a whole another level because I dealt with not having parents because I had some of the most amazing friends with their parents, like, love me. And
Mhm.
that's how I survived high
Yeah.
school. Like, I am so grateful. Like, Jennifer Kuros from,
Mhm.
I don't know if you know her, but I still talk to her today. Her family, like, brought me meals to every Jolteon game, like,
Yeah.
and made sure. lunch. So like I was really blessed and thankful of that, not having parents. Like I got over not having parents. But then like I had another trauma trigger with like anonymous people. So then
Yeah,
I
just
would
cyberbullying.
cyberbullying was really bad. So I would like look at these profiles of these people making these comments, and there would be no picture attached to it. So it was like it was anonymous again. So I was like triggered by that so bad. So it got to the point where I asked them, how do they deal with it? And they said they do not read them, they don't acknowledge
Mm,
them, they don't respond to them, they let them be. And they're like, "They don't let it affect them." I was like, "How do you not let it affect you?" Like, I would
right.
like, even 2 days ago like, I've been really good about the hate. I got some really bad hate the past, like, 3 months, and I've been really good about not letting it affect me, but the Reddit thread 2 days ago set me off. Like, I
Mhm.
sobbed for probably 3 hours because
Yeah.
one of the first links that you like, when you Google my name, it's, like, right there.
Yeah. And I remember having this conversation with a friend because like I would say social media has been a beautiful place of connection. It's been this beautiful place of like I have made real life friends,
Yes.
like real friends that like you can go through our messages and see voice memo, like that
Ah,
I talk to on a regular basis. However, as a small content creator, it's been this place where I've had to come to my friends and it's like comparison is like a B,
it's a
and
thief of
it's
joy. It
it truly is, and it was this place where I came to my friend and I was like, "I've put so much effort," and I know that you can empathize with this, like, fighting the algorithm, fighting to be seen, fighting not to put your identity in your social media
and
presence,
still
and I was just
being
like,
like, private, but then,
"Yes."
open up it's a game.
And so she was like I basically came to her, and I've shared this maybe on a podcast before, but I was like, "Dude, like, why do I feel so bad that I'm not growing, that I'm not looking like this? I'm
Yeah.
seeing this and this person do these things and they're blowing up." And my friend was like, "Raina, what if it's like the God's hand of protection that you aren't meant to be in that place right now?"
I am
Because she
so
was
glad you
like
said that. That is so true. It's so true.
and she was like, "Could you handle it?"
It's
And
hard.
she's like, "As your friend, I love you. But right now, I don't think you could handle it." And it stung, but honestly, it was the most loving thing that she could have said because I know where I am and I know that my heart is not in a place to guard well, you know? And I know that I have some other content creator friends that are like, that is the worst part. It's the ugly part that not everybody really understands that you could be getting thousands of hate messages because you posted purple shoes that day.
Yes.
It's like, heaven forbid, I'm so sorry my purple shoes offended you today.
Yes. Like straight hair. Like I wore straight hair the other day and someone on my live was like, "You're ugly with straight hair." I was like, "I just
Okay.
blow dried it." Like,
Right.
sorry, I can't help that I have straight hair.
Yeah.
It's crazy the things like that people get. Like everyone has a that's what I got to is I had to realize that everyone has an opinion about everything.
Everything.
Everything. They don't like the color pink, so they might think my outfit's ugly. I love my outfit. This is my favorite thing. I just got it in the mail.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
so like I had to get to the point where I was like, okay, like everyone has an opinion and that's fine. So like even when I read these messages, I'm like, everyone has opinion. I can't I can't change their opinion. Like
Right.
I don't need to change their opinion. I had to get secure in who I was and love myself unconditionally to not let others affect the way I feel about myself.
Yeah.
And I finally got there about 3 months ago. After my breakup, oh, that's a whole other podcast. We should do a
Yeah.
series of podcasts together because I
Oh,
talk
totally.
forever. But after I called off my wedding and engagement, I was literally in the lowest place of my life. I didn't even know who I was anymore.
Yeah. And I can only imagine coming off of something that public, I mean, just it comes with any kind of loss.
And that's what I needed after I quit teaching. I was like, I can't share teacher content anymore. So I love sharing about my ex, like
Mhm.
my my partner at the time. Like I loved talking about all the things we were doing to love
Yeah.
each other and what we were excited about getting married, and then, like, it came crashing and burning, and so that affected where I lived, my job, my identity, because I was known, like,
Right.
I was about to be a Mrs., you know?
Mary. Right.
It was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do, but at the end of the day, I'm so glad that happened because I have never loved myself as much as I do now. I was so insecure, I was lost, I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, like, in the past month, like, 3 months ago was like, "Okay, I love myself." I went through a very hardcore healing journey. Books,
Mhm.
podcasts, meditation, Pilates, yoga,
Yeah.
stretching, grounding outside, sunlight daily, like, I went through it,
Mhm.
and I, like, finally got to the point where, like, other people's opinions do not affect me. I love who I am, and I'm secure in who I am, and I feel like that's what you really need, especially if you have a presence online. But I really, like, encourage, like, even my dance students, like, I'm teaching dance right now, and I'm like, "Be confident in who you are," like, and it's been really cool to empower others with the things that I've learned from doing social media because it applies to daily life
Yeah.
too.
I think after everything that we've talked about, one, how would you encourage the girls that are listening and are like, I want what you have? And I say that from a lens of comparison because that's social media makes it so easy for it to be you or someone or whoever online, whoever's on your feed, for you to look at it that day and be like, "Ah, I just wish I was her, right? Or I just wish I had this life, or I just wish I had this." So I think the first part of the question would be, how do you protect your heart in that?
Yeah. Honestly, if I could sit down with any human right now and them ask me what my greatest life advice was, I would just say truly unconditionally love who you are. And they'd probably ask, "How do you do that?" And I would tell them this: sit down with yourself and write out everything that brings you joy. Every every dream or thing that you could ever imagine, small to big, anything.
Mhm.
Put that somewhere and look at it every single day and do something every single day that either brings you joy or brings you closer to your goals. Because here was the thing, like, I kind of skipped out a little part, but my dad did not want me to go to school to be a teacher because he said I wasn't going to make enough money.
Mm.
I never complained about teacher pay. I just ate spaghetti every day and was content. Like, yeah, it sucked, like, not going out with my friends and ordering dinners, but, like, I
Right.
loved what I did, and that didn't matter to me, right? Like, yeah, I would love a whatever, but at the end of the day, I was doing something that I loved. But I read part of this book that really inspired me to write out everything that I love, not what anyone else likes, me. What food I like, what activities I enjoy. Do I like waking up early? Do I like waking up at night? So I like rediscovered me like
Mhm.
4 months ago because I was lost. Like, I didn't know who I was, and it was scary. And I would look at all these other
Yeah.
content creators that, like, so after the breakup, my content flopped. I lost about 30,000 followers. No brands were asking me for deals. I just moved into this house that was way more expensive than what I
Mhm.
lived in with my ex, and I was, like, taking out savings every month that I had savings to build the house that I wanted to live in next, but, thank goodness I had savings because I didn't work for 3 months.
Right.
Like, June, July, and August, like, I made, like, $100, I think, in July and, like, maybe 300. But at the end of the day, during that time, I woke up and cried,
Yeah.
let me feel my feelings. Then I get out a notebook. I rediscovered myself. What brought me joy? What I enjoy
Yeah.
doing? What I don't enjoy doing? People I enjoy being around, people I don't enjoy being around. And I reevaluated every aspect of my life, personal, friendships, work, roommate, uh, boys, like parents. And it all came down to this was boundaries. So I'm reading this book right now called Set Boundaries, Find Peace.
Love it.
And it's another
Love
step
it.
of my,
Oh.
it is so good. I realized that I let other people decide who I was every day. I looked on the internet and I said, oh, that girl loves this outfit. She looks so good in this outfit. Did I really like the outfit? No. I
Mhm.
ordered it because this famous person liked it, and I wanted to be like them. So I quit doing that. I quit like looking at
No.
other
Mhm.
people and comparing myself to them. I just started
Mm.
doing everything and anything that brought me joy. And it was hard because I've had friends literally ask me, well, Madison, I don't know what brings me joy. I was like, I didn't either. I was like, the only thing that I knew was
Mm.
back when I was little, I love moving my body, whether that's dance, cheer, gymnastics. So I started with that. And I was like, okay, what do I enjoy about that? And I was like, okay, I was on a dance team of 60 plus girls. I loved community. So I was like, okay, I like dance.
Yeah.
I like community. What did I enjoy about community? And I was like, I enjoyed connecting with like minded people. That was a huge one for me, connecting with like minded people. Then I had to reevaluate my friendships because a lot of my friendships the past 3 years were not like minded people and they did
Mhm.
not have my best interest in heart. So I had to cut out a lot of people. I do not
Yeah.
really talk to my father anymore. I do not talk to any of my biological mom's side of the family
Mm.
because it doesn't bring me joy. And yeah, people are like, that's your family. That's wrong. I know someone out there listening is probably having a negative opinion, but at the end of the day, like, you have to do what's best for you. Like, you have to do what brings you joy. Like, I don't care if it's family. I don't care if it's friends. I don't care if it's your job. If your job does not bring you joy, quit that freaking job. If that
Mhm.
friend is drama filled and talks negatively all the time and brings you down, dump that friend. If your fiance is not loving you how you deserve to be loved and is not trying to understand you, dump him. Like that just got to the like
Yeah.
I started setting clear boundaries January with calling off my wedding. And back a few years ago when I quit my kindergarten job,
Mm.
I was so scared. I did not know how I was going to make money, but I
No.
knew that I did not feel wanted or loved there ever. Sometimes by some of the other
Yeah.
teachers, but by the admin that were my bosses, I was like, no, I didn't feel loved there. So why do it? So after when
Yeah.
I trust
Sure.
my heart now 200%. My heart and my mind are so connected. I am very emotional. And when I get overly emotional, I don't make decisions. But when I come down off my emotions, I listen to my heart and my mind and I look back at my goals and my dreams and my joys.
Mm.
And I say, is this aligning with these things? If not, I let it go.
And I think that that's people don't understand, like, that's a skill, you know? And it's not something that just happens overnight, you know?
It is. It took me my whole life.
Yeah.
25 years. I'm 26 now, but like fine, like I'm still growing. Like the Reddit days ago, I literally had to call my friend and I was weeping and I was like, I'm never doing social media again. And they were like, shut up. Like you take your own advice that you told me.
Mhm.
If this doesn't bring you joy looking at it, don't look at it. People are going to have their opinions and it's okay that they have
Yeah.
different opinions. And yeah, people suck. That's not you. You don't
Yeah.
suck.
And I think it's so beautiful to highlight the fact that, like, it's as simple sometimes as writing it down and having community to keep you accountable. Like, it's that simple.
Yes.
Because I think we get in our own heads and the enemy is good at
Yes.
his job. So it's like it makes it so much easier for us
Mhm.
to self-sabotage and think, "Oh, well, if I just this is the pattern I know. This is the unhealthy pattern." It will be in my head, of course, more uncomfy to step into the uncomfy that I don't know than to sit in the uncomfy that I do know. And that's where growth happens. And it's just been
Yeah.
hearing your story has been a beautiful example of that and seeing like It's as simple sometimes, friends, as looking yourself in the mirror and saying, "What brings me joy today?" One of the biggest things on my platform I talk about is simple joys. There was a season in college that I had gone through
Yeah.
sexual assault, suicidal ideation, a whole handful of just unhealthy patterns in that season. And a friend of mine was like, "Raina, life may suck right now, and that's okay. Feel all of the feels. But if your chicken nuggets were great from Chick-fil-A that day, write it on a sticky note and put it on the back of your door." So for 30 days, I had 30 sticky notes on the back of my door because that was my simple joy for the
I
day,
love
So it's
that.
like if me posting my cup of coffee that I made with a really uncrunchy creamer that I bought from Target is my simple joy, like I that's how you pursue peace.
Yes,
Is boundaries, is the simple joys.
it is. It's the simple joys. I literally had to write on my mirror, like, I'm proud of you for waking up today. Like, because I
Yeah.
want to wake up. And then it was like, good for you for brushing your teeth. Like, I'm proud
Mhm.
of you. Like, I wrote myself like literally the tiniest things. And it was great. And like, I even wrote like, you're enough or block out the haters or like things that would remind me. And then I started asking my friends, like, okay, if anyone wants the best friendship relationship advice that I could ever give, it would just be asked this question: how are you really? Really?
Really.
The second you allow and just listen to them, don't say anything back, just listen to them. When you hear people and they feel like their feeling is valid and you just be a safe person for them to share something how they are really, that creates another level of deep connection. And that is how I've created some of the most beautiful friendships in the past since I called off my wedding because
Yeah.
I intentionally talk to my people.
Yeah. One of the things my dad actually challenged me in was instead of, wrestling through conversations, it's, do you want my advice or do you want me to listen?
Yes! There was a YouTube video that I made my ex-fiancé and I watched when we got in a really big fight that
Mhm.
actually helped us a lot. That was all about what happens in conflict.
Yeah.
And it was the coolest. It said just that, like, would you rather do you want advice? Do you want me to listen? Or do you want a hug? Or do you want what do you need from me? Doing whatever they say. Like, that's the thing about my ex and I that we struggled with for a while was
Mhm.
when I had really bad anxiety, like I could not physically talk. And he'd be like, what's wrong? Talk to me. It's okay. Like
Right.
when I was having my panic attacks, and all I needed was to be held. Like I
Right.
did not need to talk about it. I did not need
Right.
advice. I just wanted to be held. So I told him, I finally said, when I get like this, just hold me. So I got to the point when anytime I was crying, he
Mhm.
would just hold me. And we figured that out because of that video, because you ask what they need and you listen and then act based off of what they need. Because, like, at the end of the day, like, we all need different things. We're all unique. We all have different opinions. Haha, bringing that up. We all have different love languages. We all have different everything. But, like, it's so beautiful when you try to understand instead of like I
Mhm.
right now I'm really struggling with like some old friends that are popping in my life right now. They like I don't think have the right intentions
Mm.
and they like are questioning what I'm doing and I'm like, you don't even know me.
Yeah.
Why are you questioning? Why don't you try to understand instead of come at me with
Yeah.
these harsh opinions? Or telling me I should do something differently because I feel like I know myself very well now. I mean, I will take constructive criticism all day from people that I love and care about.
Hey friends, I want to let you in on a secret. I fell for the hype that digital resources were all the rage and the way to serve your community last year. Hence, really the birth of Return to Rest, my ultimate rest resource. Now, that was birthed from a place that I am really passionate about rest. I have realized that us as women and especially mothers are lacking in ultimate rest. Rest in our creator, rest in our bodies because we're juggling so many things. We're trying to steward the health of our family and our kids and our spouse and ourselves, and we just keep chasing. Now, it doesn't matter the beef liver that you're taking or the red light sessions that you're doing if you are not rested. So, while Return to Rest really meets that need and gives you tangible ways to plug in actual habits that will reset your rest rhythms, I realized that something was lacking, and that is tangible accountability and community. So, since you guys are my loyal listener family, I'm letting you behind the curtain a little bit. Over the next couple months, I'm creating just that, taking Return to Rest to a whole new level and providing tangible accountability and community in a way that really will have to force us to transform our rest rhythms. Otherwise, friends, burnout is not just around the corner. It's going to be the name of the game for our family and for our hearts. So, if you need something to chew on until that comes out, go ahead and snag Return to Rest. I just dropped the price by $20 because I really want it to serve you. I want it in your hands, and it's a reusable resource for whatever season you're in. And keep an eye out as name pending for this new creation is coming. I'm so excited, and I really hope that it'll bless you because I know you need it just as I do. No, that was perfect. I will touch on a point. Set Boundaries, Find Peace. I think it's by Dr. Nedra Tawwab. I'm probably butchering her last name. But that was honestly one of the biggest life-changing books. And one of her other ones, I don't know if you read it, she talks about, I'm blanking on the title, but I'll link it in the show notes, is her one on family drama specifically. I read that book.
I wouldn't be able to read it. What book is it?
It's her second book on family drama. And
Oh, I would love
yes,
to read that.
I'll send it to you. But I literally opened up the first chapter and was like, is she writing about me? Like, has she lived my life with my family? All that to say, it was a huge resource. I'll link that in the show notes and I'll message it to you because that was another one that she setting boundaries, finding simple joys. I think over the past 6 months for myself, becoming a mother, navigating military life, has been.
I'm so proud of you, by the way. It's so good to catch up.
Yeah. How can our community get connected with you? Where can I plug all your stuff? All the things.
I am actually launching my podcast and I haven't told
Oh,
anybody.
yes.
So I wanted to do it in February, but I wasn't ready. I have my first episode ready to go. I have my name. I have everything. So that's coming out. Hopefully, I want to launch that by
Good.
I want to have some pre-recorded, because my life gets really busy after
So fun.
my birthday's in September and then the holidays. Holidays is crazy with social media.
Mhm.
I work 14-hour days the past month and I slept maybe average of 4 hours a night.
Yeah.
But you can find me on Instagram, Jantzen in the Rain, Jantzen_in_the_rain. Or you can find me on TikTok, which my handle is still Miss Jantzen because I was a teacher and I did teacher TikTok first. And you can find me on Pinterest, which I'm starting to pop off on Pinterest of my ex and I, which is
Okay.
triggering, but that's okay. It's getting me more views and that's all. You can also find me. I have a Facebook page that I'm about to pop off too. Oh, if anyone wants hair and makeup tutorials or Amazon products, I do Amazon live streams also full time. And I love teaching people how to feel confident in the skin that they're in. So I love teaching people how to do hair and makeup and just find so much joy in it. So if you also find joy in that, you can go to my Amazon Lives. I have full-blown tutorials for any age, any age, any.
Awesome. Well, I have one more closing question before we hop off, and it's what we close for all of our guests. And I feel like you've had so many of these just big, wise moments. But if you could provide any wisdom to your younger self or for our community that is listening, what would you share?
It would just to honestly love myself. I think I struggled so much with my birth parents not loving me how I needed to be loved that I felt very unlovable. And the thing that I'm noticing about people these days is they don't really love themselves. I ask people all the time, what do you love about themselves? And they have such a hard time answering. And I do not think it's cocky. I have a list of probably 100 things that I love about myself. And I am frequently because everyone is so beautiful They just need to realize it. Like, we are
Mhm.
all so beautiful, regardless of who you are. Like, I even think really crappy people are beautiful. Like, everyone has beautiful qualities and traits. You just need to let those shine and to love
Mhm.
yourself, because everyone is capable of so much more than they could ever think. You just have to know your strengths and weaknesses. Like, am I going to go be a doctor? No, because I don't do well with needles, right? Like,
Mhm.
so like, be realistic with yourself, but also know your strengths and weaknesses and get to know who you are and pursue everything that you love. And that's my biggest advice to anyone, honestly.
That was perfect. Thank you, Madison. I think one of the most healing things that I've wrestled with in my own heart over the past couple months is like, God didn't make a mistake with you. So who am I to believe that I'm any less than anybody else I'm comparing to on social media? So, Madison, this was an awesome conversation. I will link all of your things. And I'm just so thankful for your time with our community.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed connecting with you.
Of course. All right, friends. Well, we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Thank you for listening, friend. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you don't want to miss any wisdom or encouragement, be sure to subscribe to the show. And don't forget to rate and review. Your feedback means so much and helps our community grow. If you're looking for more wellness wisdom and free resources, head over to livingwiselywell.com or get connected with me on Instagram at wiselywell. And if you're looking for a break from the hurried health lifestyle, check out my Return to Rest resource for tangible ways to slow down and finally find rest.